wasn't necessarily a business born out of necessity. It was a business that was born out of opportunity, and it was a business that was started by a guy in Melbourne. Then we had the recession, and that was about 1992, and at that point Roofseal took over the company that I worked for. The recession that we had to have continued, and I made the offer to take over a division of the company that was unprofitable, and then I started to own divisions of that company progressively in 93 through 95, and eventually took over Roofseal in Melbourne.
Started my career was with SA Government. I wanted a sea change, so I moved overseas for a couple of years and came back. Didn't know what I wanted to do, so Dad said, well, come work for me for a short term until you work out what you really want to do.
He came back from overseas and told me he wouldn't mind getting his hands dirty, so we put him into the paint factory, because if he was going to have a future with the company, he needed to know right from scratch.
Then I actually started really at the grassroots of the business. I started off as a yard sweeper, tidying the offices around, doing handyman stuff. And then I went into production of our coating system, then bought the coating system out of Victoria into South Australia, and then set that up in SA. And then I moved into more of a trade division, managing the trades. And then I moved into the marketing manager position. That was kind of an evolution to get to know all of the business and how all the divisions work. I then know how the business operates and what each division needs to do to be successful.
So he's been successful in every step that he's done. Then it came time for him to step up and take over the Adelaide operation.
A big win for me was when I took over as state manager and director from my father. I was quite scared of when I took on that role, but to be able to take it over and grow it and develop it from where it was, I'm quite proud of that personally. I guess communicating that fear with my team members and building a really good base around myself of people who I could trust and work with. Changing and how do we change and how do we grow and how do we develop together. So it's about communicating that with staff and family and friends who, support myself to get that result. I set monthly and yearly benchmarks that I maintain, and I try and hit those benchmarks month after month. Another milestone we had was that we were awarded Australia's Best Roof Restoration Company in 2017 for an Australian award. That's a pretty good success.
As we've been successful in handing across the major operations to James, which are the Melbourne and Adelaide operations, it's been my drive that we repair and expand the franchise network that we have.
So our core business obviously is roof restoration, but we do also do re-roofing and plumbing, so guttering and downpipes. We do a gutter guard protection system. We also do roller shutter for external windows and outdoor blinds. They just go hand in hand with obviously the home. Our main point of difference is that we manufacture our own coatings, which is called Elemex. We only supply to ourselves. It's not a retail product, so we only supply and manufacture for ourselves.
We retain for 7 years a liquid sample of every batch that we produce, and that is in case there be any defect with the roof. We can actually trace to that batch, we can trace from the roof to the batch, we can give that liquid sample to our paint chemist, and he can analyse as to whether there's any defect with that coating. We also retain what's called a drawdown card from that coating at the point that it's manufactured. That means that we can assess any defect with any roof should it occur. We can assess whether it's a problem with the application of the coating or it's a problem with the coating itself. We have a chemist available to us who has input to the company, who's had over 40 years experience making coatings, so that we've basically over the years perfected our coatings. We know exactly what goes into the coatings and there are no shortcuts.
We here in SA actually have bonded tradesmen, so they buy a franchise off us and then we then supply them work. So they can only work for us and they actually buy into the business. We train them. If there is a problem, we've got control over that and we have to then rectify that work.
We really do try to have it be a happy experience for the client. Every salesperson that is involved with us signs a pledge that they'll be honest and upfront with their clients, also that they'll never take advantage of anybody. To be sure of the service that the client's going to receive, we have what we call bonded tradesmen. These are tradesmen that have contributed their own capital to basically say that they're going to do an excellent job and they're going to abide by the standards that RoofSeal dictate. That's been caught by the franchising legislation, which has turned them into franchisees. And it came about because of the high transient type of people that were attracted to the roof restoration industry, where they were considerably fly-by-night, and some of those people are still around. And this brought, in our organisation, ethics and credibility to the trade side, so that they will do exactly what they're supposed to on the roof. They won't cut corners, and they'll do an exceptional job. Once the job is completed, we inspect every roof.
We have a full-time employee who is a licensed building inspector to ensure that the service and the product that we're delivering by our tradesmen is up to our company standard and our, my personal standard.
Oh, and your roof is getting lost
The
between...
seal was in a very primitive form when I took over the Melbourne operation. It was a sort of cartoon sketch. And we came across a great marketing guy called Dave Cook and produced the seal as it is today. He came up with it. The jingle that we have that's so famous, and I've even had airline hostesses sing it on the flight to me.
7-0. Roof!
I started in 1987. I left school as a 16-year-old lad with not much desire or want to do, or not knowing what I was going to do. So I joined a company called RoofSeal. I sort of was on the road booking appointments door to door for the first 3 years of my life. And then I became in the sales area from 1990. In 2000 I was appointed the state sales manager. In 2010 I was appointed in a national role setting up franchises on the eastern seaboard of Australia. It's a very unique system that RoofSeal formulated. It is a free roof inspection. Predominantly the work that we do here at RoofSeal is roof restoration, which is roof restoration, a restoration process I should say, on a cement, terracotta or an iron surface. And what we provide is a 33-point roof inspection along with a verbal report. So what we actually are able to provide for the homeowner is some opinions and recommendations to their needs and requirements, and then it's up to that homeowner to work with one of our technicians or inspectors to work out what suits them best, and then from there we work out pricing and step forward accordingly. The guarantee period when we complete a roof restoration is for 7 years. The benefit there for the homeowner is that the 7-year guarantee covers the workmanship carried out, and in South Australia and Victoria we normally use bonded tradesmen, so that's a benefit to the homeowner, and we're exploring that in other states as we sit here today. Also the good thing is that the flexible acrylic compound that we use on the ridge capping and the coating systems, Elemex coating systems, using solid oxides, gives that homeowner a chance to have something that they don't have to actually worry about for another 15 or 20 years. A lot of roofs cannot be restored if they will not take to a high pressure clean at 2,500 to 3,000 PSI, because you'll cause more damage and obviously could cause issues with inside the home. So if a roof, a cement roof or a terracotta roof is too brittle or too weathered, it won't be able to go through the restoration process. So then we would offer that homeowner in that regard a new roof, whether it be tiles or whether it be filters, steel roofing products that we get through BlueScope.
Yeah, we try to support charities in different ways. We've done Youth Opportunity, which is dear to our hearts, which is a charity that supports school kids that may have whatever issue. Probably the most significant one where we were able to help was to do with prostate cancer. We also have done letterbox drops where our direct marketing people have promoted prostate cancer should be checked out. And the wonderful thing is that the media have come on board and substantially promoted that you should get yourself checked. But we've also done the SES. There's also been the Make-A-Wish Foundation. There's also been Beyond Blue that we've done. There's probably one or two that I've missed. COVID has certainly impacted us terribly in Melbourne, and it's prevented us giving the type of service in Melbourne that we would like to, but we'll get on top of it.
We definitely did make some huge adjustments. In Victoria, I completely shut down the Victorian office and transferred all of the phones and all the contacts into South Australia, and had all the calls coming through the call centre here so that we could manage it on a national level and still keep that customer service up with our client base.
Yes, we had less staff because we were going into precautionary measures with the business about were we going to be able to stabilise, were we going to be able to survive through COVID. So it was testing times, and then when the phone's calling 3 or 4 times as many times as what it normally is through a day, and you've got lack of staff, it became evident to us that people were at home looking at issues around the home and then calling us to help them out. Understanding where COVID came for us, and for everybody, which was the end of March, that was leading into our winter period, and we were already very, very busy leading into winter to try and get those homes finalised and fixed and sorted for the homeowner. So to have the multiple inquiries keep coming in day after day for about a 6-week period through that April-May period when people were working at home wanting roofing work done came quite a task. But we've been very lucky though. We've been very, very fortunate being a market leader for 30 plus years and having a product and the culture of this company about looking after that homeowner that actually helps us being front of line when people think that they have a roofing issue that they need to attend to. Roofsil in South Australia would complete 25 roof restorations a week, subject to good weather. Nationally, we would complete somewhere around 45 to 60 roof restorations a week, if the weather will allow us to, with our coating systems and with the flexible acrylic compound that we have to put on the ridge capping that has to set over a period of a couple of hours. But we would complete up to 60 roof restorations a week.
So we've survived the global financial crisis. We survived the recession that we had to have. We survived the introduction of GST, which put everything up 10%. We're surviving COVID. The reason is that bang for buck, as far as home improvements is concerned, your roof makes an incredible visual difference. So not only do you look after your asset by getting your roof repaired, but you also get a big bang for your buck because it transforms the appearance of your home to the rest of your neighbourhood. And that in turn causes your neighbours to then contact us. It's a self-fueling industry which has been particularly good to us.